Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Kino with STEMwithKino.com, and today's live stream is for the AFOQT. This is the channel to be on if you are preparing for the AFOQT. And let me see, before we jump in to this, I want to go into Okay, so what I've been doing on all the live streams is first I'll start off with something historical and then something aeronautical because primarily I do cater to the aviation community and especially the pilots that are seeking undergraduate pilot training. I also prepare people for the ASVAB, which is the Armed Services Vocational Aptitude Battery. So in any of my live streams, you guys can ask questions pertaining to the ASVAB. And, so we'll do something historical. We'll do something addressing like an aeronautical type, area or area of operation or task. And, and then I'll answer questions for you guys. So the way, and I say this, the way that you get the most out of this live stream is you get your AFOQT book, your test preparation book, and just basically you can ask questions. If you follow me on Facebook, actually see the questions that I'm answering. So it's like really nice. It's like added as I'm going along over the questions. You could actually see the multiple choice questions and stuff like that. And then you can see my reasoning behind taking or selecting a certain choice in a multiple choice question situation, which if you are taking the AFOQT, it'll be in a multiple choice format. Okay. And as far as I know, it's still a paper test. It takes about a week to 10 days for your results to come back. And okay, so um, okay, so let's talk about history. Since I haven't really talked about anything, you used to have the Army Air Corps, and according to what I'm looking at, the Army Air Corps existed. And correct me if I'm wrong, but what I'm looking at is from the 2nd of July 1926 to the 20th of June 1941. Okay, so the United States Air Force became a separate military service September 18th, 1947, with the implementation of the National Security Act of 1947. All right, so I'll actually put this definition on the post in Facebook, and if you guys want to check in, just kind of you can check in, tell me where you guys are from, and I am posting this on the STEMwithKino.com Facebook page right now. All right, let's now you guys can also you can post your questions on the timeline if you like. All right, but that is the first. So all you guys that are preparing, this is historic. This is something that could pop up on the exam. Okay, actually tomorrow is the birthday for United States Naval Aviation. I'm looking at a comment. Kino is going to help you remember all the things you forgot. Well, let me open this up. I'd like to see the comment. And shout out to Zachary for dropping this. Yeah. So Kino is going to help you remember all the things you forgot years ago. Okay. And Marcus comes in. He has valuable knowledge and volunteers. It's time to share it with others. That I do. And that is the whole purpose. And I'd like to remind you, if you guys are, most people, and I remind you guys all the time, if you guys aren't, or what I'm trying to say is most people aren't prepared for this test. Most people aren't. There's a very select few. And that's why we need coaching. You know, if I was looking to run a marathon, I'm not just going to go to my local track and jog. I'm probably going to go to a proven professional that kind of knows the ins and outs of running and, human physiology, and can give me a nice diet to go on and a training regimen. So most people are not ready, and you only get 2 times to take this test. So please seek out a proven tutor for this exam. Um, you know, and another thing I like to advise people: you may be under the impression, well, I have a private pilot certificate, I'm just going to go take this test. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. I would find a professional, and it does not have to be me. I get enough work. I'm not like, oh, please choose me. I mean, if you do, you're going to get the best preparation possible. But just keep that in mind. You do not want to take this test twice. You want to be prepared properly the first time around. So I recommend, finding a tutor. You could buy 5 or 6 books prepping that's, oh, this is the AOQT test preparation book. This is the best. And again, if you don't see me actually hold the book up, because I'm going to stop saying I don't like this test prep book or I don't like that test prep book. I'm not going to do that anymore. Okay, because everybody or every company, every business is in some type of development stage. They're kind of working their way up to finding their way. And I don't want to be a part of beating them down and stuff. So what I will say is, if I don't hold this up, if I hold the book up and I'm trying to find another book, not. But if I don't physically hold the book up and like, hey, this in point, don't buy it. I'll just say that. Okay. So even the ones that I do, nobody's paying me to endorse. It's just over time, I've, dealt with some particular publishers, and they have proven to be representative of what you see on the test. And if you do have a test prep book, feel free to reach out to me. And like Forrest Gump, that's all I have to say about that. Okay, so, all right. I'm sorry, there was a little feedback there. So, I'm going to talk to my computer a little bit. All right. So, September 18th, 1947, we talked about the birth date of the Air Force, September 18th, 1947. Tomorrow is the birthday of United States Naval Aviation. So that's pretty cool. I'm going to be doing a live stream on the birthday of United States Navy Aviation, which is May 8th, 1911. May 8th, 1911. I left my window open for a nice breeze to come in and everything like that. And yeah, a couple flies got in here, but so you may see me like waving. I'm not crazy or anything like that. I should have closed it, but I'm in session now, so we'll deal with it. My actual office door is closed, so it's not like they're going to go into other areas of the office, so we'll be all right. We'll get this squared away. All right. So I want to touch on a testing thing I've been seeing. I'm always going to talk about what I've been seeing from the applicants that I deal with. And okay, Philip, I see you in the building, brother. Okay. All right. Your order of operations and functioning within formulas has got to really, really be good. What I mean is, your basic math skills have to be in check, because sometimes we kind of get away from, what am I trying to say this? Well, let me give you another example that I'm seeing. You really, for these word problems, I noticed that the word problems are really stumping people. And word problems are some of the hardest math problems that you're going to encounter, because you have to take the language and you have to make it into an equation. And so you really have to have a really set, clear-cut path on your approach to solving these problems. And the thing of it is I use the phrase line by line in diagram. Read every line in diagram. It is very easy to get lost in a word problem if you don't have a structure or a set way of approaching the word problem. So I think word problems has always been a barrier and a challenge for applicants. And when they come, you got to handle it. You can't, oh, well, I'm not going to do this or whatever. They're really not that bad and stuff. So I wanted to get that out before I forgot. And I'm going to start putting like notes in my like schedule book and things to talk about. So the Afoqt, let's do some sample questions. And at this point, if you need my email, just in the chat, you could just, hey, your email. You can contact me on Skype at KIENO.THOMAS. You can send your questions there. But let me just kind of open something up, because I want to talk about, I want to hit a test prep book, and I want to hit some aviation related. It's on the worksheets? No. There we go. All right. Very good. Okay. So let me scroll on down, because I want to talk about instrument interpretation, and then I want to talk about aviation. All right. So here's a sample question I'm going to post on the Facebook to help you guys know what to do with these problems. Okay, so I'm about to post the first problem. And YouTube guys, I don't use OBS, so you would have to be on Facebook in order to actually see this question. This is specifically for the Afoqt, and I think the SIFT also does this as well, but today is the Afoqt day. So, okay, so as you look at this image, guys that are following me on Facebook, I want you to look at this image. And basically what we have are okay. So basically what we have is an artificial horizon and a compass. Okay, and then you see a compass. So artificial horizon and the compass, that's what I want you to look at first. And this way you can do this as efficiently as possible. So when you look at the artificial horizon and the compass, these are the instruments that are inside the cockpit of the aircraft that you were looking at. You will see A, B, C, D, E, and this is a ground position view. And you're viewing north. So I want you to look like you're on south, where you're standing on that S, and the actual aircraft pointer is pointed towards my right shoulder. Because I'm looking north. You're the camera, I'm looking north. And the aircraft is pointed to the southeast. So I'm facing north, east is that way, west is this way. And then, so southeast is the way that the aircraft is pointed. Now, the first thing I want you to do is look at the artificial horizon. If you look at the artificial horizon, we can see that the pilot, his or her wings are level, and the nose is slightly upward. So there's a slight climb, and the aircraft is pointed towards my right shoulder. All right. Not like 90 degrees, but like kind of like on a 45-degree angle. All right. So anybody in the room can answer this. Which aircraft do you think this is? Alpha, Bravo, Charlie, Delta, or Echo? We can rule out Alpha and we can rule out Delta. And we can rule out Echo. Why? Because these aircraft are in a descent. The nose is down. If you look at the artificial horizon, the nose is above the horizon. So you can rule out Alpha, you can rule out Charlie, you can rule out Delta as well, and you can rule out, not Charlie, you can't rule out Charlie, because Charlie is actually the answer, because it's in a slight climb, it's pointed to the southeast. And so these are things that are going to come up. If you are vying to be an aviator in the United States Air Force, then you want to have a very good grasp on this. So, you know, if you're looking to go into undergraduate pilot training, then you would want to make sure that you could test showing that you've done your due diligence on knowing how an artificial horizon, or what we call attitude indicator, operates. And you have some sense of direction, meaning you can read a compass. Because that's what this part of the test grades you or rates you on and everything. So this is instrument interpretation. Another area of the test I wanted to touch on. And I'm checking my email for questions. I'm just kind of going to go ahead and do my thing until an actual question is asked of me. And guys, if you're in here, if you can hear me, please hit 1 if you can hear if the volume sounds good. All right. As I look for my second area that I want to touch on the exam. All right. Yeah, and then I want to talk about an aeronautical thing. All right. Quanisha, it's good to see you. Who else is in the room? Samuel, it's good to see you. Good to see you. We did plan for him, but I think that was for the Afoqt. All right. This is a good one. All right. This is a good one. And I am going to post this question. And if you guys send me a question, I'm not going to, unless you say I can say your name, I'm not going to say your name. I'm just going to, I'm going to capture the question and I'm going to post it on the Facebook page. And this is the next one. You need to have a sense of, really? All right, sorry guys, I got to capture this again. It is not playing right. Okay, I'm posting this on the Facebook page, and you will be required to have a little bit of what I would call ground school knowledge. If you are particularly wanting to go pilot or navigator. All right. So I'll read the question. The question reads as follows as soon as this thing populates on the screen. All right. Which one of the following does not affect density altitude? Well, first you have to understand what density altitude is. All right, there's other types of altitude. There's indicated altitude. There's pressure altitude. There is absolute altitude. There is true altitude. Absolute. I said that already. Now, what is density altitude? Density altitude is pressure altitude corrected for non-standard temperature. What the hell does that mean? Pressure altitude corrected for non-standard temperature. So I would say to guys, like, if you have no flight experience, this area is kind of like unfair a little bit, because if you're not pilots, what would you know about density altitude? And so this comes back to why you probably need a tutor. If you're like, oh, I have no flight experience, but I want to be a pilot in the Air Force, and I have to take this AFOQT before they've given me any type of training to know pilot stuff. And, that's where I come in. So bring your questions from that area of the book, of your test preparation book, so we can address these. All right. So density altitude is pressure altitude corrected for non-standard temperature. What the hell is non-standard temperature? Well, when we calibrate our instruments, there is kind of like an international standard atmosphere when we calibrate things, like even like your oxygen tanks. When when we're calibrating these things, and they're supposed to, be sustainable to a certain number of atmospheres. Okay, and that's what we'll probably discuss, for my ASTB OAR guys in physics and stuff like that, and the Army SIFT. But let's not go too far off topic. So there are standard temperatures and pressures in what we would call a standard atmosphere. I call it a perfect atmosphere because I've never seen 15 degrees Celsius and 59 degrees Fahrenheit at sea level. I've never seen it. And if you have, you're lucky. Well, I won't say I've never experienced it. I probably just was not paying attention. Might have been 59 degrees Fahrenheit when I heard the ATIS, and just wasn't paying attention. But I cannot ever clearly just kind of remember, oh, look, we're the atmosphere is standard right now. But when we calibrate instruments and stuff like that, 15 degrees Celsius, 59 degrees Fahrenheit, 1013.2 millibars, 14.7 pounds per square inch. This is what a standard atmosphere is, or the characteristics that it is supposed to exhibit at sea level. Now we have what we call a standard lapse rate. So as you can see, there's a lot around this question of density altitude. All right. So we talked about standard temperature, moisture content. I saw it, Juanisha. I'm gonna get on them. So you know, and even my AR and ASTBE people, you want to know what this is as well, density altitude. So in the standard atmosphere that almost never exists, or not that I've kind of clearly paid attention to. Now there's a lapse rate. Let's say you're at 15 degrees Celsius. Well, the standard lapse rate suggests that we should lose 2 degrees Celsius or 3.5 degrees Fahrenheit for every 1,000 feet. So where's my little mini? There. Thought I had you, buddy. I misplaced you because I said, oh, I'm going to have you for the live stream. And I didn't. So we're in an aircraft and we take off, right? Don't laugh at my artwork, guys. So we take off, boom. We pass through 1,000 feet, 2,000 feet, 3,000 feet. In a standard atmosphere, at sea level, we're supposed to be at 15 degrees Celsius. If the standard lapse rate is correct or in play, then at 1,000 feet, we should be at 13 degrees Celsius. And 2,000 feet, we should be at 11 degrees Celsius. And at 3,000 feet, we should be at 9 degrees Celsius. If that does not happen, if it gets warmer as we go up, then we have what's called a temperature inversion. So I know there's a lot, and I kind of discuss a lot around this. So which of the following does not affect density altitude? Altitude, atmospheric pressure, moisture content of air, temperature, and velocity. Well, wind velocity is the only one of these factors that does not affect density altitude. Now, another thing I want to say about the atmosphere, think about being at sea level and then being at 20,000 feet. What are some characteristics of the atmosphere? Well, at sea level, the air molecules are really, really close together. They're packed together and dense. When we go higher and higher and higher, there's more space between them. So it is not as dense at the higher altitudes. Okay, so think at sea level, when our intake takes in that air really tightly packed and it makes it expand and blows out of the back, there's more force going out the back. As opposed to being at a higher altitude we're going to get less thrust, we're going to get less performance out of the aircraft. And so an airplane is going to be fighting for performance numbers like at higher altitudes, if that makes any sense. So let's say we're down here on a very hot and humid day, and it's very, very hot. What's going to happen to the air molecules? It's going to spread apart. So the plane is going to actually fly like it's at a higher altitude. This is why in reciprocating engine aircraft, we have two turbocharged and supercharged engines. All right. And I think this was probably before, turbine engines really got super duper efficient. If you're flying a propeller aircraft, it had to be supercharged or turbocharged, where the air is kind of like recycled and repacked. So it's the air molecules are squeezed together. Now, the outside atmosphere might be, the air molecules might be apart, but when it's introduced into the engine induction system, then we have a method for packing those air molecules together and getting more performance out of the aircraft. So, yeah, the answer is E. That's the factor that does not affect density altitude. So I hope that made sense, because there's a lot around density altitude that you need to understand. Atmospheric pressure. If we're at a low altitude, sea level, we'll have higher atmospheric pressure. If we go to 20,000 feet, we're going to have less atmospheric pressure. Moisture content of the air can have an effect on density altitude, and definitely temperature, which we just talked about. All right, so let's thank you guys in Facebook land for hitting on a like. If you're on YouTube, please hit the like. Samuel, thanks for checking in with me. What test are you preparing for? You can type it in the chat. I know it's a delay. And guys in YouTube land, please hit the like button or dislike. I don't care which one. But you here, hit something. It doesn't cost you a dime. All right, so let's come on over. Ounces, 28 ounces, 80% water. You won't get a question of this ilk, Juanisha. I will actually drop one that is more likely, more representative of what you receive on the test, because they won't go this in depth. AFOQT. All right, guys. Are you guys ROTC cadets? Or are you guys OCS candidates? OCS or ROTC to respond to that. Okay. And Isabella, thanks for checking in. You can still ask math questions. Tomorrow is the aviation selection test battery live stream. Okay. Oh, okay? Trying for OCS. All right. Where am I? Okay, prior service, outstanding. Green Devil. All right. Let me back up. So I'll show you one mixture. They won't go that in depth. They just want to know that you have an idea of what's going on. And like a fruit juice problem, this is probably what it will look like. I'm posting this on the Facebook side of things, folks. Okay, and it is dropped. Okay, if you're following me on Facebook, you will see the question. And let me just see if anybody else checked in. All right. Okay, so if you see the question, I'll get into it. I don't know where. Okay, go page. All right. So mixture problems. I know a lot of people look at these and they look like very, very tough. All right, but they're really not that bad. Okay, so Emily mixed together 9 gallons of brand A fruit drink and 8 gallons of brand B fruit drink, which contains 48% fruit juice. Find the percent of fruit juice in brand A if the mixture contains 30% fruit juice. Now I'm going to do another thing. I believe I can take this and boom, I can copy. So I can put this on the YouTube. Hopefully, yeah. And I got to break this up a little bit. Control, copy, control, cut. I'll drop the first part of this question on YouTube, paste, and the second part. So you go, that is the whole question, guys, on YouTube. So Emily mixed together 9 gallons of brand A fruit drink and 8 gallons of brand B at 48%. Find the percent of the fruit juice in brand A if the mixture contained 30% fruit juice. Now, the way that I approach this problem is I like to think of these, I put these in containers when I'm teaching it to people. So I look at it like this, like, okay, well, here's container 1 plus here's container 2, which will be mixed, and they're going to equal a larger container. Okay. Now there's going to be an unknown concentrated normally, but in this case, that is not the unknown because they told us the mixture contains 30%. The whole mixture contains 30% of fruit juice. So we have our amounts up top, 9, and we have 8. And this is the unknown, brand A. So I'll put A over here and B here. This is brand A and brand B. And we have 48% of brand B. So here's how the math goes. It is this times this plus this times this equaling this times the sum of the two containers. Again, this times this plus this times this equaling the sum or the percentage times the sum of the two containers. So we have 9 times x plus, just like I said, the math flow, 8 times 48 equaling 30 times the sum of the two containers. That's 9 plus 8. All right, somebody go ahead and calculate 8 times 48 for me. And I see on the video, on the camera, I'm kind of like, lean back. So I apologize for I'm not wings level on this. All right, somebody calculate 8 times 8 for me. This part will be 9x plus 384. Thank you, Isabella. Equals 30. Now, this is what I would do. You got 30 times 9 and then 30 times 8. Well, 3 times 9 is 27, and then add the 0, 270. 3 times 8 is 24. 0, add the 0, 240. So this will be 9x equaling, this will actually be 510. So this will be 510 minus 384. Somebody subtract that for me. 510 minus 384. Thanks, John. I'll see you on the check-in, my brother. Good, always good to see you, man. So 9x equals 510 minus 384. $126. So this is 126. So 9, and I will put 120, 126. I'll put 129. 9x equals 126. Well, it's not equaling. We're going to divide, and I should have put the x there. So 9 goes into 12 one time. 9, 36, and 14. 14. So brand A is 14%. Fruit juice. Everybody hit one in the chat if you understand what took place. So once you have your setup, if your setup is wrong, that's going to kill your whole answer. All right. So it's this times this is our first container, plus this times this, your amount and your percentage. I don't put decimals or anything anymore. I used to teach it like that, but it's not necessary. Green Devil, thank you. He got it. All right. So mixture problems are not that bad. You just have to understand the format. If you remember this times this plus this times this, that's why these two containers are going to be mixed to give us a new percentage. And we know it's 17 ounces or whatever the units were. Why do you have 9 and 8 on both sides? Because that's the framework of writing out this equation. I tell you, it's this times this, which is represented here, plus this times this, equaling the new percentage of the mixture times the sum of the two containers. So you see me bracket up and boom, boom. So that's why I do that, Isabella. Okay. No problem. That's why we're here, to talk AFOQT. All right, so Quanisha, thank you for presenting that problem. We really, really appreciate it. And you guys can drop questions on the timeline. Nicholas in the building. Number 5. Okay, again, you won't get that type of problem. You won't get that type of problem. You'll get the ones that are like, because you have to understand, they're skimming. They just want to know you have basic knowledge. They won't go that deep. So we've been presented with a working together problem. Okay, let me pick out one of my favorites. Page up is a beautiful thing. Page up and the page down key. Okay, there's a couple types of working together problems, but here's my favorite, one of my favorites. You could send them through. Hey, Darren, are you in the building? If Darren's in the building, just sit yes. DRG. Darren may not be here. All right, let me take a shout out. Who else? I've been in the building. Quanisha, can you drop my Skype information and email on the chat? And Philip Fu, can you drop my email information and Skype information on the chat? I prefer Skype though. Kino.Thomas on Skype. That's what I prefer. But if you gotta send it Gmail, you can send it Gmail. Okay, hold on now. I just got a response. And I'm looking at a bunch of different screens, Philip, so forgive me. You said Charlie is facing northeast. So we may have a correction for. No, Charlie is not facing northeast. The tail is presented to the northwest, and the nose is pointed southeast. And it's in a climb. So Charlie is the answer, Philip. So, but you know, it's good to have this dialogue so we can see. And we see Melvin. Melvin, good to see you. Thanks for checking in. Zachary hit me up earlier. All right, so back to what I was getting at. A working together word problem. Let's say you could clean your room. You live with your brother and sister, and you guys are in the same room. And you could clean that whole room in 10 minutes, and your brother or sister can clean the other room in 20 minutes. And the question will be posed, how long will it take you two to do it together? So the formula, and I'm going to put it on the board, would be X over the number of minutes or hours you could do it plus X over the number of minutes you can do one. All right, so the question is being dropped on Facebook now, guys, and I will verbally go through it. Matter of fact, I think I could even post this. Hold on, guys. That would be cool. Yeah. All right, so yeah, I can copy this and put this on YouTube. Yeah, I try to do all I can, guys. YouTube, they need some type of, oh, too many. All right, so I have to put this in two parts. Control, copy, Control X. Boom. Okay. Boom. Okay, so the question is kind of, and I didn't mean to cut that H off, but one recruit can complete an assignment in 40 minutes, and another recruit can complete the same assignment in 1 hour. How long would it take to complete the assignment if the two recruits work together? All right. So, like I said, X over the number of minutes that one person can do it plus X over the number of minutes a second individual can do it equals 1. One job, one task, one mission. So we have X over 40 plus X over 60 equals one job. Now we need to look at these two. We need to look at these two numbers and look for the lowest common multiple. All right. So 40 times 3 is 120, and 60 times 2 equals 120. So the lowest common multiple between these two numbers is 120. Now, as a result, each term needs to be multiplied by 120, each term. Now, you're going to have to be pretty decent in fractions, guys, if you're going to do these, because when we look at a whole number is really always over 1. So 120 over 1 times X over 40. The result is going to be 120X over 40. Because the numerators are multiplied directly across and the numerators are multiplied directly across. 120 times X is 120X, and 1 times 40 is equal to 40. All right. Now, we have to understand the circular relationship between the whole number we're going to find and the fraction. So this times this is going to equal the numerator. 40 times 3 is going to give us 120, but it's 3x. So 40 times 3x is equal to 120. So it's important we understand the circular relationship between a fraction and the whole number. Everybody type 1 if you understood that part so far. All right, and I know there's a delay. So 120 has been multiplied by x over 40 to produce a 3x. We have to do the same thing with x over 160, so 120 over 1, and this is 3x, so we don't forget that. Times x over 60, same thing applies. 120 times x is 120x, 1 times 60 is 60. Circular relationship. What do we multiply this by to give us 120x? It is 2x. 60 times 2x will give us 120x. So this one is 2x. And then 120 times x, I think that's self-explanatory. I don't think I need to explain that. So our equation changes to 3x plus 2x equals 120. And we combine like terms. 5x is equal to 120, and then 120 is eventually going to be divided by 5. 5 can't go into 1, but it can go into 12 2 times. 5 times 2 is 10. Drop 1, so 24 minutes. If both of these recruits in our problem that we posted are going to do this problem together, and it's going to take them, one can do it in 40 minutes, the other one can do it in 1 hour. If they work on this assignment together, it's going to take them 24 minutes. And if everybody got that, please type in 1. Okay, Isabella, I have received your message, and you can send away. When you come up in the next coming weeks or whatever, as we just have like 8 minutes left. Um, but I appreciate your support to the channel. I hope you're following me, and I hope you're liking the channel, be it YouTube or Facebook, however. All right. Okay. I got another question. And this one is, okay. And so all my fixed wing people, don't think that they're not going to send you helicopter related questions. I'm actually posting up two right now. Don't think that, oh, they're just going to give us fixed wing. No, 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 no. Air Force aviation does include rotary wing. And I would be paying attention if you guys are SIFT people on these, as I know I have people that are preparing for other tests. Even though they may check into the Afoqt, because all the math, I train people for math all the same way for every exam. So if I train you for the ASTBE, you're good for every exam. ASVAB, Afoqt, or it doesn't matter. Okay. Okay. Question number one. The name Sikorsky is generally associated with the development of rotary wing aircraft. Not lighter than aircraft, not supersonic aircraft, not turbojets or turboprops. Rotary wing aircraft, which are helicopters. The helicopter is a rotary wing because that main rotor, that is a rotating wing that provides lift. Airplanes, their wings just kind of like stick out and just stay there. They don't move, they don't rotate. But a helicopter's wing is actually rotating, it's spinning around. So Sikorsky. The maneuver in which the helicopter is maintained in nearly motionless flight over a reference point at a constant altitude and a constant heading is determined. Auto rotation, no. Feathering action, no. D, freewheeling is not it, and E, torque is not it. All right. So it's hovering. Some people pronounce it hoovering, but there's only one O, so it's hovering. So there we go, guys. So, guys, we're pretty much at the end of this. I thank you guys for all checking in. If you are preparing for this test, your math game has got to be tight, especially if you're looking to, get some really, really good scores, especially for our pilot and navigator people. And the aviation knowledge, you want to do aviation information. You want to do really, really well on that if you want to be a pilot or navigator. Let me see. Let me just check the check-ins. We got Philip on Facebook, and I want to just thank everybody for checking in on the YouTube side. I got a question. How many times? Once a week. Every Samuel, every week, every Thursday at 5 p.m. is the Afoqt. And Isabella, I will hold these questions till tomorrow because we are doing the ASTBE and OAR. It's because we're not going to get much done in 3 minutes. So, Samuel, I don't really see you that often. Thank you for checking in. Green Devil, thank you for checking in. I appreciate it. Um, Isabella, I think you were here last week. John's here all the time. Thanks for checking in, though. And Quanisha, thank you guys for taking time out to check me out. Okay, I'm kind of scrolling down. Okay, I will need tutoring. Oh, I know what you meant, Samuel. And just, Isabella, just hit me up on Skype. You can hit me up on Skype to kino.thomas. So whenever you're ready, you have the connection. And, we can move forward with that. But kino.thomas. Um, Watch you all the time, never catch you live. Well, Green Devil, thank you. I appreciate that, man. Um, you know, this is good. I think I'm the only guy that's actually doing this. So, it's good. It's good because, I'll just give you a little background. I was a full-time flight instructor, and, I was, teaching some guys, helping them get their private or their instrument or whatever, and then it's like, yeah, man, I want to join the Air Force, and man, I'm having trouble with this test, and they just brought me the test prep book, and I helped one guy get through it, then another guy, and then another guy. This was over 10 years ago. As a matter of fact, the AFOQT is still on paper. But long and short of it is what I started noticing was that the test prep books weren't really representative of the exams. Because every time I get a guy to come back with debrief, we debrief. Oh, well, I saw this type of word problem, or I saw factoring, I saw exponents or whatever and stuff. And then, so like over 10 years ago, I just started just taking notes and stuff. And people say, hey, you think this would be on the test? And I'm like, nah, you probably won't see that on the test. So now I really have compiled a body of work or data. And that's what I give to all my clients that come to me. Eyes on information that they actually physically seen on the test. So again, most people are not prepared, and I would not just go take this test. Don't buy 3 or 4 books and think, oh yeah, I'm gonna get through this. I'm gonna do this. You think you're saving money, but you're kind of, unless you are at a certain level. And I've only met 3 people in over 10 years that were prepared for these exams. And I know I say this all the time because the last thing you want to do is go take this test because just take it, see how you do. That's what a lot of recruiters will do with you. Just take it, see how you do. But you only get 2 times your whole life to take this test. My concept is be ready before you go the first time. You don't want to do this twice. You don't. Samuel Kino, KIENO.THOMAS. If you subscribe to me, in lowercase letters is my first and last name. I prefer Skype or first and last name @gmail.com. But Skype is the best way to reach me. I'll be more than happy to get the ball rolling with you. So we're 6:01, and I believe. Wow. Okay. Wow, that's weird. No, the 7th. No, I do. John, I'm coming, buddy. I was looking at Friday for a minute. I was like, nah, my 6 p.m. is clear. No, it is not. So I got to go, guys. John's waiting. But I thank you guys all for showing up. Please like the video or dislike the video. I don't care. Please subscribe to me. If you're not subscribed to me, please follow me on Facebook if you're not following me already, because there's a lot of videos and information, and sometimes people take the test and they drop information on the timeline, on the post line on Facebook. So, I thank you guys for all showing up. I'm Kino with STEM with Kino.com. Thanks for coming in and showing your love to my thumbs up people. Even the thumbs down people. I love you guys too. You gotta have trolls everywhere. If you don't have trolls, you're not doing it right. Thank you guys. And then my next live stream will be for the Aviation Selection Test Battery and Officer Aptitude Rating tomorrow during the birthday of United States Naval Aviation. So all my ASTB and my OAR people, check in, man. And we are going to have fun. Take care. Bye, YouTube.